Hello there, right here we have a brand new snapshot for 1.16. This is actually the very first pre-release. We are now in the stages of pre-releases. This kind of comes right before they do the full release, or very close to the full release. And with these pre-releases, they normally just mostly do bug fixes, not many features added. If you guys are aware of any bugs that still exist in the game for 1.16 newest version, make sure to report them, as well as tell me about them down in the comments, because I will be doing a video going over the major bugs that they should fix before the full release. But some of the changes that they did make in this version includes changes to villagers and how they find their workstation, as well as it made some changes to how Pigman will constantly be mad at you or not. This could affect our gold farms. And there is a lot of bug fixes in this version. And if you guys haven't already subscribed, make sure to go ahead and do that, because I make tons of videos about cool things they can do with the new 1.16 version. And if you're wondering what all the other changes are for 1.16, check out the playlist, which I've linked down below, which goes over every single snapshot and all the changes in it. That way you can be up to date when the new versions come out. Now let's get into all the new changes with 1.16 pre-release 1. First new feature that they added is a new option in video settings. You can see how they have graphics. It says fancy. They have some words over it. So it says fancy graphics, balance, performance, and quality for majority of machines. There's also a new one, which is fabulous. Graphics enables screen shaders to draw translucent objects per pixel. This may severely impact performance for portable devices and 4K displays. And then there's also the normal fast one, which goes into detail about reducing the amount of visible rain, snow, transparent effects are disabled, various blocks such as trees and leaves. Let's go ahead and try out Fabulous. I guess supposed to be better. I really don't notice anything. Tell me if you guys can notice anything. They added a new game rule, which is universal anger. It can be true or false. By default, it is false. What this does is it allows neutral mobs like zombified piglins to attack nearby players, and not just the player that they are angry with. So if this is enabled, I'll probably attack whoever is closest to the pigman, so you could probably like throw a snowball from far away and hit the pigman, and if there's somebody nearby, then it'll come and attack him instead. They also added a new game rule, forgive dead players, and this is set to true by default. This makes it so when there is angry neutral mobs like pigmen, bees, endermen, and the player would happen to die, and he comes back, the mobs will no longer be angry at him. So if you change this, it's going to make it so that even if you die, you come back, they're going to still remember you and be mad at you. So if you guys still kind of want to get that old gameplay, you can change these game rules. They fixed a pretty old bug, which was if you like hit an enderman or somehow aggro enderman and he's aggressive towards you, he comes running towards you. If you log out and then log back in, he'll no longer be aggressive towards you. So now you can no longer kind of avoid these circumstances. This applies to any aggressive neutral mob, so like spiders, pigmen, endermen, anything that's normally neutral until you aggress it. There's also a really annoying bug that you run across in survival. If a skeleton would hit like a pigman, and then if you come over here and kill the skeleton that initially hit the pigman, now the pigman will be mad at the player. This doesn't make much sense, but that's how it was, and they finally fixed this bug. This hostile mob switching over thing also applied to bees, and bees could turn around and attack players after attacking something else. There was a problem if a bee had killed a player. When the player respawns, the bee is still aggroed towards the player. Good thing they fixed it, because this is not how other neutral mobs work. They also made a change to the bees, so if you kill it in one hit, it no longer will aggro the other bees around him. They fixed quite a few problems to do with players in creative using buckets. Now it's possible to milk cows in creative. This also applies stuff to like mushroom cows, so now you can see you get an inventory. They also fixed a bug when you're creative, you're unable to pick up buckets of lava or water. And same thing goes for like water or lava. And you can still use your empty bucket to clear away a lot of like lava or water if you want to. It's not going to like replace your empty bucket, even if you use like one bucket. But it seems like if you already have one bucket in your inventory, it's not going to give you another one, which is probably a nice thing. They don't have to worry about the water filling up your whole inventory, as being a creative one water is just like having many water. They also added so you can change the smithing recipes inside of a smithing table. You can modify this for your very own world. There's something called a base, which is the base ingredient. There's also an additional ingredient. Now they both have their own tags as well as a result. You can make your own kind of like custom crafting recipes, except it's the smithing table. They also made some changes to data packs, including data packs can now be selected before the world is created. They also have it so that if you copy a world, it'll also copy the data packs. They also made changes so that packs can now be dropped directly on the data or the resource pack section screens. So I can just grab anything and drop it here, and it'll say, do you want to add the following pack to Minecraft? It's just an image, and I'll throw it into the appropriate folder. To fix a major problem to do with the GPU usage was extremely high in these new snapshots. Hopefully you guys don't notice as much lag when you're playing. They also changed it so now snow golems will take damage from water potions. Let's see if it also applies to endermen, because that was a problem that I reported. Looks like they teleported away. Now the enderman should be able to teleport away, and he still doesn't take damage. So I wish they really fixed that bug. Should be able to take damage just like Snow Golem did. I'll link the report in the description if you guys could vote it up. That'll help it get fixed. They fixed a bug to do with water z-fighting through waterlogged blocks. This is where the game's unsure if they should show the water or the block from underneath of it. And it causes them both to kind of show through at different periods, depending on where you stand. They also fixed some other z-fighting issues, so you might notice them being removed now, like ice and water. They fixed a bug to do with withers, able to give the wither effect to people in creative. Now you shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. They now added to the advancement 2x2, which has to do with breeding up mobs. Now you need to also breed up mules as well as donkeys in order to get this advancement, because they are actually their own separate mobs when using the summon command. There was a problem when the player would sleep in bed and leave it, it would not center him directly in the center of a block. This thing also applied to villagers, and this is why when I was talking about my iron farms, it could perfectly align them. I believe it was the northwest corner, but now they should perfectly align them in the center, which makes doing calculations a lot easier. They fixed some problems to do with hand animations, including when the player was trying to color a sheep when he already is the same color he's holding. They fixed quite a few problems to do with how particles kind of come off of certain blocks, and this was not scaling when you go out really far. The particles would be off by a bunch. You might notice more precision for a lot of different blocks if you're working very far away from 0, 0. They addressed a problem that comes with baby sheep and a lot of other baby animals. When they get inside of a corner of a fence, they can't really figure out how to get out of it. They now changed it so piglins are aggressive towards the wither, just like they're aggressive towards the wither skeletons. In some cases, hoglins were not really avoiding the warped fungus, and they went ahead and changed that. They changed the respawn anchors so that they'll no longer destroy blocks when underwater. There was a minor problem with the soul speed enchantment, which was when the player would leave it, it would still apply for a short period of time, and now it only applies when you're exactly on the soul sand. There was a problem with the baby hoglins when they're trying to retreat from the player, they'd often not always run directly away from them. They went ahead and changed that. They also fixed it so that if a hogling is angry towards something, it will still respect if there is any warped fungus nearby, and they will try to avoid that as well. They also fixed the problem with chicken jockeys being unable to despawn. This is something we noticed during our snapshot stream, and it was kind of strange, but it was definitely a bug, and now they will despawn along with all the other ones. They made it so that now baby hoglins will also try to follow their parents, similar to other parents and babies. They also changed it so that when you guys do the new advancements in Nether, it will also give you XPs for these. They also added gold nuggets as items that the piglins love now. Oatmeal and kelp was creating a lot of particles, rather than just particles at the spot that was growing. They fixed the problem to do with clouds were rendering in front of pretty much everything for some users, and it was really annoying during our snapshot testing. But somebody found a fix was to change these to fancy. Now they went ahead and fixed it. They also addressed some other rendering issues, like for some people entities were showing up as being black. There's a problem with functions and how they load, so now they should be working more properly. There's a problem that you could use some multiplayer commands in a single player world. They fixed a wide range of rendering issues, so hopefully we don't see stuff like where you can see through water using players' name tags. They fixed a problem to do with villagers being kind of attracted to one workstation, even if there's multiple ones, and if they can't get to this one, then they're just unable to reach any workstation, and they fixed it. So now they'll reach other ones that are nearby. They should make it nicer for when you're trying to get a bunch of villagers to attach themselves to a workstation. There was a problem in the last snapshot where players' view would actually be completely upside down. Now this never happened to me, but I actually had this something similar weird happening when every time I would take a screenshot, my screenshots would always be upside down. They fixed a bug so that when you drop items on the ground, they still have their glitter. Let's see if they fix shield. The shield is still really weird, where they only have glitter on the handle part. Everything else is not glitter. Some semi-transparent blocks, like honey, the little black line which appears when you point at something. When it points at honey, the black line was very prominent and made it kind of hard to concentrate on the actual block. So now you can see it's a lot more subtle. There was a problem with bees' age calculation being broken with inside of a beehive. Now that bug has been removed. Villagers that got hit by lightning would turn into witches, but sometimes the witch itself would not get the same persistence required tag that the villager had. The villagers can have these tags where they don't despawn, and it should also be applied to the witch. So now it does. Made a change so that nether gold ore now doesn't show up as gray when used on a map. There's a problem when totems of undying were being used. It was producing kind of a bluish tint when in F5 mode. There was a problem with functions not working when reloading a world. We had this problem during yesterday's snapshot stream. Our functions weren't running when the world was reloaded, and it looks like they addressed this, so it should be fixed. When slime blocks as well as honey blocks were moving, sometimes the inner pieces of the block wouldn't show up properly. There was some redundancy in the items that the piglins love to pick up, including the gold horse armor being on there twice. They fixed a bug to do with players being able to set their spawn point instead of dangerous blocks like cactuses, campfires, fire, lava, magma block, wheat berries, water, as well as wither rose. This is causing some like infinite death loops because people get caught in these. A wide range of bugs being fixed in this version. Really could be interesting to see how these changes affect it, especially the changes to the aggroing pigment. Let's see if it's going to affect our gold farms. Also, hopefully the change with the villagers make it a lot nicer to make villager halls. And we are working on new pigment farms as well as villager halls for the new version 1.16. Look forward to those. If you guys haven't already, make sure to share this video with your favorite Minecrafters so they can learn about all the changes that are coming out in 1.16. And don't forget to leave a like on the video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!